All right. Greetings. Going live. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. We're now going live. Thank you all for that. I continue to rock with the channel, that are continuing to keep up with the content that I put out. Appreciate all those that have been loyal so far. This video is going to be an update about where I've been lately. I also put in the title description. I kind of retired from YouTube, and the reason I said that because I haven't put out any videos lately. And once again, I want to say thank you. All things have evolved over time, and I'm gonna maybe go into the reasons to explain what's going on, kind of where we're headed, and may not be putting as much content out for the time being because I haven't in quite a while. But once again, I want to say thank you all. Much appreciation to you all in this journey. Those of you all that I've gotten a chance to meet behind the scenes. It's been awesome. Been a great journey. I appreciate the intel, the contacts I have been able to develop throughout the years as well, and those that I stay in touch with behind the scenes. And those individuals know who they are. Some people I definitely it's a great family on Telegram. I'm kind of like incognito, so I'm not always on there from time to time. But I just wanted to kind of give you all an update and let you know where I'm coming from. And the reason I put out the type of videos that I did in the past to show you all that I'm authentic, and I wanted you all to really know what was going on when I would give my opinions on different topics. I want to tell you that that information, a lot of the older videos, there's a lot of truth to those videos. It's highly accurate, especially the testimonial videos that you all know that I did about that private event that I attended. I may say the name. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I try to speak cryptically in code because I was straight up. I was put under a lot of pressure to basically stop doing videos once the overseer from that particular event found out that I had basically come out as a whistleblower or whatever, and then I had went through things behind the scenes and this, that, and the other where they were trying to kick me out. Then I was allegedly, the word I got, I was no longer a member because I had exposed or did the video that went viral about the black card some years ago that I received. And then I was contemplating on coming back, and I decided not to at that time. I was trying to weigh my option because when the individual resurfaced, they stated that if you did not want to return, that you would be made whole. By the way, and it turned into basically the same old false hopes and false dreams because nothing of that manifested so far. However, according to one of my private contacts, allegedly, there's people that actually have gotten funded. By the way, I have pretty reliable, highly credible sources. Just want you to understand, I can only go so far with how much I can prove to you guys when I tell you these stories, and I also have to protect myself for my own safety and things of that sort. If you understand, certain individuals have enough money to hire security. When I put myself out there, by the way, and I went public, I also made myself a target. And I explained I had to do things to try to protect my friends, people that I would get intel from, that I would receive. Because a lot of times when I spoke to them, a lot of them, practically majority that I talk to on a regular basis, they prefer to have anonymity. They don't want to put themselves out there. But the problem, the detriment to that, and you guys, some of you all, many of you all know that I listen to Alex Jones, despite how you feel about him. I know he's been accused of being a conspiracy theorist, a racist, this, that, and other. I disagree with those things. In my opinion, he's part of the independent media. And just because you support someone doesn't mean that you co-sign everything that that particular individual mentions in their entire belief. And this goes for anybody out there. Just because you rock with somebody does not mean that you co-sign their whole entire belief or anything that they've said. There's assumptions because the mainstream corporate media has been weaponized, guys. Please understand this, that the corporate liberal controlled mainstream media has been drastically weaponized against we the people and the American public, especially those of us that are truth tellers, those that may not go along with the official narrative, especially if you are a conservative or you come from an independent mindset that is not along the lines of the establishment. Then you could become a target, you could become hated, you could become censored. And then I can prove these things to you. By the way, there is a article that I bookmarked. If you guys know the previous video I did, I showed where Google actually lost a court case for being in violation of antitrust laws. And you guys know I used to mention that all the time, a lot of my older videos, previous videos, but they're big tech giants. They have a lot of money. They have a war chest of money, a team of lawyers. So it's hard when you go up against these people and they break the laws and they do things that they want to do. And they did things like torturous interference, going after independent media journalists and things. And a lot of times the left was trying to accuse Trump of that, by the way, when he would call out the fake so-called mainstream, which is corporate media that is worldwide. But in actuality, it was leftist. It was a lower court, I believe out of New Orleans, is connected to form a federal court. Not sure how many levels below the Supreme Court, but very powerful court had made a ruling where they found the Biden-Harris administration. This is a fact. I'm not making this up. You can fact check this. Even though the Supreme Court made a decision not too long ago where they claim that these so-called tech giants weren't in violation of freedom of speech. But however, a previous ruling, a court had found that big tech companies, along with the Biden-Harris administration, had illegally, unconstitutionally censored, targeted conservatives, independent voices, and there was even forms of election interference, with some pointed out, and I'm not an expert that deals with election laws and stuff of that sort. They found them guilty and ordered them to stop. But as you know, they continue to still illegally spy, unconstitutionally target innocent Americans, use tactics of torturous interference with censorship, weaponization of social media. As you guys know, what was occurred before Elon bought Twitter, by the way, I hear it's not perfect. However, a lot of stuff was cleaned up because remember the Twitter files, which the FBI, I told a friend of mine privately, I got word they were actually trying to go after Elon because they were mad, upset that he exposed a lot of this. Remember when I explained to you guys, and I don't keep up with, races, what do you call it, like election races all over the country, different races that are going, not just the main presidential election, but the Twitter files had exposed a woman named by the name of Katie Hobbs that had done some things and had colluded behind the scenes and did things to sabotage Kerry Lake's campaign, I believe out in the Arizona area. I've never been to that particular state. So this is just from the independent media. This is just having my eyeglasses on. And I don't have a reason. I'm not getting paid by any of these people. So those, if any out there would try to accuse me of being a shield, I'm fair when I report on the information. And I research things and I can independently read and be biased. Technically, I'm not a registered voter. I have not been a registered voter since 2004. So even though my ideology politically, I may lean to the right, technically, I'm not conservative or liberal, progressive, any of that, because I'm not registered and have not been registered since 2004. I used to be a Democrat back then, but I didn't understand why I was at the time. And then I became more politically astute and aware of things. I already knew about the New World Order, the One World Government, the Mark of the Beast, the Antichrist, the United Nations, stuff like that from teachings, meetings that I went to years prior. But there was still a lot of things I didn't understand pertaining to politics, political science, and how the ruling class elite were weaponizing different government corporations, institutions, as well as politicians being paid off to not help we the people when they are elected by we the people, and they're supposed to work for we the people, by the way. So, another thing, in case you don't get a hold of this video, the reason why I don't get as many views, not just because sometimes when content creators, when you're not consistent, not only the censorship, but when you're not consistent with videos, I understand you will or can lose subscribers. A lot of people don't talk about that. It's like the elephant in the room. But if you're not putting out consistent content, you can lose subscribers. Another thing that's happened because social media has expanded exponentially. A lot of people that used to be on YouTube that were upset with the censorship and things, many of them have actually left. The good news, just because you don't see as many people or say, hey, Dorsey, you don't get as many views anymore or many people watching, what's happened is a lot of people are now on Telegram, they're on Rumble, trying to think the name of this other there's many other platforms that are out there. You have BitChute, Brighteon, you have Minds.com, Truth Social has a significant amount of people. You have Clubhouse. There's a lot of people on TikTok. Still, TikTok has expanded, even though that's a whole nother topic within itself. What's going on with, I heard when it was they were discussing, or you all already know, there was talks about banning TikTok from the U.S., by the way, and there was a lot of independent voices and content creators and major influencers on TikTok that stated that will hurt them. And one of the reasons that they believed that TikTok was being targeted, because there was also a lot of good information on TikTok that was being freely given, and allegedly the powers that be, or big tech giants, I call them big tech bullies, don't want independent voices outside of their corporate media talking points, giving perspectives and things in real life scenarios. They don't want people connecting the dots. They want you to be dumbed down. And this is also going on with Instagram, even though Facebook purchased Instagram some years ago. And that's what these big tech companies will do. You'll have these cronies, these minions, underlinks, or gatekeepers of the elites. And then what they'll do sometimes, if there's a platform that's independent, they'll come in and try to purchase the platform, then to come in and control it, and then censor it, and then get rid of the voices that they don't agree with, by the way. Because remember, hate speech is speech they don't agree with, by the way. So just keep that in mind in case you're watching this video or you get a hold of it later. Despite the fact that I have been censored, I have not put out content as consistently. And this channel was connected to my backup channel that was completely gotten rid of. I did protest it numerous occasions. It looks like it won't be coming back up. The reason this channel remained up, where I can still do videos, but I can't log into my back office over here. I can't comment under the when this video ends. By the way, just keep in mind, I can't comment. And I mentioned this, the reason I say this as a reoccurring statement, because I still do have over 8,000 subscribers. I have people that will check back from time to time, and I have to remind them in case they didn't receive the message that this channel has been basically put into the gulags, because my other smaller channel, which was my smaller backup channel, somehow I was not able to detach it from my larger channel. This is actually my larger channel. And because of such, there was no other ways that I knew of to basically separate it. So it's like the gift and the curse. But I have a new channel, by the way. I have not put out content over there in quite a while. And that was kind of technically meant as a backup. The reason I still did videos over here, because I still kind of had more views at the time, but I don't put out videos consistently like that. And I may be retiring, so you guys just understand if you don't see me for a while. I'm also in the process, plan on moving, by the way, to give you guys an update. I plan on moving from where I currently stay at. my place of dwelling, by the way. So I'm going through that process. But on this journey, I want to say thank you to all that have continued to rock with the channel, that have supported me, that have been loyal. Many of you I've talked to, spoken with behind the scenes, I still stay in contact with. And in terms of the redemption education or sovereignty, you know that that information, there's been a leapfrog in the technology and the information. And I felt that I needed to go back to the laboratory before I used to do, I did consultations at one time. And the only reason was that because years ago, I didn't allow originally uh, people to reach out to me, but I got so many requests that I had just decided to, at the time, to put it as an option. And then I had another large content creator reach out to me in terms of that study information related to redemption, sovereignty, and wanted to work with me. And that was, I appreciate her. That was a wonderful opportunity that still may be on the road, but I needed to go back to the laboratory. And I was only at a certain level when it came to that information, even though some would have considered me advanced. But there's been a leapfrog in the technology. A lot of people nowadays have a lot of the good information, by the way, because there's a lot of people there. It's very competitive nowadays. They're not holding back on information because of such. And people are just more people now because they found out that you can monetize and stuff like that from YouTube, and people are doing consultations. So it's become a lot more competitive. And there is good people out there. They're credible people that do really know how to articulate themselves. I would say a lot better than I do, that are talented, very much talented and advanced. And just to give you guys a heads up, so I felt I'm not no longer qualified. The information has outgrown me. It's even fast paced, fast moving, just like the IT, the information technology field, the computer field. When it comes to redemption education, I call it sovereignty, freedom. Information is moving at a fast pace. It is evolving, and the information has gotten a lot better. And there's a reason why there's different classes to educate oneself. Like, for example, there's class specifically on the IRS, privately doing your, things different, in a different capacity, where you will be considered in a different tax bracket. By the way, not the standard norm. There's classes for that. There's trust classes about dealing with, you have irrevocable trust, then you have revocable trust. There's classes for that. There's classes that deal with, like we had, I gave an example to someone that reached out to me some years ago, a group that I was part of when this information was through word of mouth at one time. They had different teams, and I explained to this person how we had classes broken up into different subjects. So we had let's say a credit repair class or team. You had a tax team. You had a social security team. You had a team that focused on discharging debt. You had a team this could be related to banking. By the way, you had a trust team that just focused on how to structure your entities, your trust, your LLCs, or your revocable or irrevocable or common law express trust. These are separate classes, and they can get extensive. Just like when you were in college or you were in high school, and you needed to gather a foundation. So because there's been a leapfrog, I need to go back to the laboratory and make sure that my foundation is solid before I come back. And many of you all have shared with me, even now that good information is out there. There's a separate class on the arbitration process. Some are holding now. That's kind of new, where people are getting better at arbitration. QSIP class. There's court classes, by the way, challenging subject matter jurisdiction. Then there's separate information about how it was misconstrued that if you study sovereignty, that you were denying your citizenship, that you would not be able to get access to welfare food stamps anymore, which was found out to be by some of the most advanced people that is not true. And you actually can claim and get back more once you learn, you get the solid foundation, because these jobs are not paying you an actual income, because the definition of IRS term income is convoluted. So you're looking at learning about remuneration to make sure that you're properly receiving remuneration because you weren't paid an income. And there's different accounting ledgers with how payments are applied. And the elites, what they did behind the scenes, they made this information very hidden, very meticulous. So that's why I said I needed to go back to the laboratory and make sure I establish a better foundation myself. But I do have years of experience that has helped me out in certain regards in understanding contract law and removing certain contracts and not engaging and knowing how to properly disengage, but still knowing how to use the public side at the same time, because those benefits are there for you as a beneficiary of the in lingus. That's the corporate, the legal term for straw man, or your legal entity. Your all caps name is in lingus. That is the court term for the legal fiction, which is stylized in the rules of grammar, capitis diminutio maxima, as the all caps name, capitis diminutio maxima, because this proves that the name, when it's stylized in all caps, you're being tricked into acquiescing when you enter into different contracts for your signature, and you enter in a certain way and you don't understand, you're being listed as a minor, lost at sea, or infant. That's because you didn't reach the age of majority. The concept when you turn 18 is actually when your birth certificate matured. You did not claim it, then you're still acting as a minor, or your signature card was not redone at your banking institution, and you're not endorsing your checks when banking. There's classes for this with restrictive endorsements and things. So things are coming together. Know a lot of things, even in my own studies, I went over a lot. It's spread apart because in the past you had a lot of gatekeeping with the information going on because gurus, so-called gurus, are trying to charge extra money to receive the additional information. Now a lot of it is out here because people that did have the money have now teamed up with other people, or they're giving it out freely. And even some of the advanced people have gotten more advanced themselves, and they're like masterminds now, creating master classes and teaming up, or have teamed up with other like-minded individuals. So there's been a leapfrog in the technology when it comes to sovereignty, or being properly being a sovereign citizen, but not a belligerent non-combatant. By the way, we're not where you're seeing videos, but you're seeing people that are properly having success, where they properly know how to execute without putting themselves in harm's way. If you understand, I explained to a friend of mine who's been on the fence about this for years, and he's starting to realize now, being skeptical, that there's truth to this information. There's even people, this was put out some years ago, people within the legal system that were studying the information, trying to learn themselves for various reasons. Some believe it was put out so could combat it, and others that genuinely were trying to use it, for whatever their own purposes were. I was on a private call not too long ago, and I sound like I heard a woman say, when she was asking a guy that did a court class about subject matter jurisdiction, how to challenge jurisdiction, by the way, and she sounded like she wasn't trying to mention, but she said opposing counsel. So when she said opposing counsel, that let me know that I assumed that she was a lawyer, was trying to, as she was stating her question, but she thanked the gentleman for sharing the information. So it sounded like she was trying not to reveal that she was an attorney or a member of the bar association when she said opposing counsel. And I said, so that let me know, was confirmation to me that there's people even within the judicial system that are learning this information. Is very real, despite there are a lot of people out there that are still brainwashed to the information they were taught on the public side, because the elites only intended for the general public to be taught certain information, while they themselves were taught exclusive information, and many times while they were taught by their parents or sent to private schools by invitation only, that had curriculums and things that are not taught in the public system, but specifically in their own private system that was exclusive to them by invitation only, or people that they recruit, seminars by invite to learn exclusive information. That's how they keep the information compartmentalized, and they keep even some of the smartest people dumbed down on the public side or ignorant to this type of information. Like, for example, I do try things out behind the scenes where I plan on moving from. I'll tell you guys a story, some things I did in the past, but something recently I sent over some paperwork to the property manager. He sent it over to corporate, to the chief financial officer. And it was, let's say it was related to the 1099. And let's say this guy, I looked up his credentials already, even the assistant, whatever. And she received the email as well, I'm assuming. But because he was the chief financial officer, he replied and stated that I was not the creditor and that the 1099s are only supposed to be used for foreclosure. By the way, specifically a statement, and know that there's different types of A's. You have C's, B's, OIDs, miscellaneous. It's different types of 1099. But he stated that I wasn't the creditor and that they were the lessee, I was the lessor, or something to that regard. And I said he simply just is not aware, doesn't know, even though all the years of schooling that he had in the college system, from looking up his credentials, didn't teach him the real information, or because it's kept hidden. A lot of people wonder, they didn't intend for people to be freeing themselves like this. They want to, basically, they have a stronghold over the system. So I said, because I'm moving anyway, you have to pick and choose your battles and things of that sort. But I thought I'd at least give it a try and looked into it. But those of you all that are highly advanced know that the lease agreement, because it's a financial instrument, it's a form of a negotiable instrument, it's a form of a promissory note, just like a car lease agreement, a rental agreement. All those agreements can be endorsed. And it's just a matter of going through the legwork, setting up appointments with brokerage firms, or speaking to proper bankers that have the proper credentials that can negotiate or properly monetize or securitize those instruments. Can be a headache for someone independently that's coming into this information, and especially if they're by themselves and you don't have a team. So when you have a team of people, you have encouragement behind you when there's someone by your side, or you're trying to help each other out. And some people do have that. A lot of people actually do, but some places I've spoke to people, a lot of people, when they study this type of information, they're on their own, and it's really difficult for them, by the way. So why this information can be complex, but it's very real. But I'm going to get ready to wrap things up. I just want to thank you guys that continue to stay loyal to the channel, that continue to rock with me, let you guys know where I had been. I'm in the process of moving, so I may not be doing videos for a while until I get, my new place I'm moving to. I get things set up. Pray my strength in the Lord, and I have maybe some other content down the road. Those of you all who do get positive encouragement and have reached out to me, text me, thank you all for your support. And until next time, you guys have a blessed and wonderful night, evening, wherever you're at. Take care.